So finally, they signed peace agreement in Egypt. 27 leaders from 27 countries came. The peace agreement between Hamas and Israel after over 2 years, just a little over 2 years. Today I want to recap well what was happening in Gaza. I know some people they love Russia, some people they love USA, but today I want to everyone to know the timeline and the players, so we can actually see what's actually going on, what was going on there. Palestinians are supported by the Iranians, China, North Korea, Russia. The Iranian regime they supported Hamas with money and weapons. China they renamed the map. They deleted the name Israel and replaced it with Palestine. And don't forget, Iranian not only supported them with money and weapons, but also with fighters. Hezbollah from Lebanon, the Houthis from Yemen, and also Bashar al-Assad when he was still in power. The Shia also supported the Palestinians. But you have to remember, the Yemeni war killed 475,000 people, both directly and indirectly. This is the war between Sunni and Shia. Now the Houthis won because of the support from the Iranian regime and the Saudi, who supported the original government, lost. The Saudi lost 3,000 soldiers. Even UAE also lost some soldiers during the war in Yemen. Syria, Bashar al-Assad is a Shia. He's a follower of Alawi. A little bit slightly different compared to Islam, but still, they are still following the Prophet of Muhammad. And they killed so many Sunni there. The war in Syria killed over 640,000 people from both sides. But this is very strange. For some reason, the Shia, when it comes to Palestine and Israel, they supported Palestinians who are majority Sunnis. I heard some of them they converted to Shia in the past several years. I think it's because of the help from the Iranian regime helped the conversions. Probably thousands of them. And I also want to remind everyone, no Arab countries during this 2 year war in Gaza took any refugee from the Palestine. Not Egypt, not Jordan, not Saudi Arabia, not even Iran. They could have taken the women and the children if they wanted to, and left the men there to fight if they really wanted to. But not even the children were taken to the safety. They just left them there. Why? Because nobody likes Palestinians. They spread chaos when they were refugees in Jordan, in Lebanon. So nobody likes them. Many Arabs remember the event like Black September. The Jordanian king had to call soldiers from Pakistan to help them, and he killed thousands of Palestinians because they rebelled against him after they became refugees. Also, in Lebanon, they are the ones who created the civil war in Lebanon between Sunni and the Shia, between Shia and the Christians, between the Christians and the Sunni. And this is like crazy war. Lasted for so long, destroyed Lebanon. So that's why nobody wanted them to be a refugee in their countries. Nobody. And again, the support for the Palestinians come from countries like North Korea. North Korea, even Russia. Russia is not open for liberty. Russia is not a democracy country. I mean, democracy is sometimes, it's sometimes bad, but you cannot talk bad about Putin. You cannot even be a Jehovah's Witnesses there without being going to jail. That's how strict life in Russia is. And China, the Chinese government put hundreds of thousands of Uyghur Muslims in prison and re-educate them and prohibit them from fasting and praying. And then suddenly they are on the Palestinian side. This is crazy. This is strange. Why? Turkey is able to make drones. They can send thousands of drones attacking Israel if they wanted to, but they didn't. Why? Even though Erdogan always talk bad about Israel, but Erdogan busy sending jet fighters killing the Kurds, but not the Israelis. Don't you think this is strange? The Kurds, who's also a Muslim, they are Muslims too. Saudi Arabia and Jordan, when Iranian sending missiles attacking Israel, Saudi Arabia and Jordan shot those missiles too. They said, oh, we are afraid those missiles will fall before reach the destination and will fall in our land. So we shot them. Is that a good reason? That's a weird reason. I mean, if the rockets or the missiles made by Hamas, maybe it will not get to the where they want to send it, right? To Israel. But Iranian, they have pretty good technology. Maybe not the best, but pretty good technology. And yet, Saudi and Jordan secretly help Israel. And but both of them they say, "Oh, Israel, you're bad. You're doing genocide." Da 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 da. Egypt too. When South Gaza was being bombed by Israel, Egypt sent tens of thousands of soldiers into the border between Egypt and Gaza. Why? because they don't want those refugees to run into their land, to come get into the Egyptian land. They don't want them. They don't want them. And of course, I remember a few weeks ago, Indonesian president also said something funny. I don't know, maybe he's serious, but sounds funny. He said, if the two-state solutions are actually done, if the Palestine become a state, then Indonesia will recognize Israel. Indonesia and Israel they do not have relationship. They don't have diplomatic relation since 1940s until now. But that's what he said. Let's see if he's telling the truth. Because as of now, the athletes from Israel are banned from coming to Indonesia. Why? Because they are Israelis. I don't know what sports have anything to do with politics, but people always mix them. Anyway, and if we go back from the time of Saddam Hussein, Hosni Mubarak, Gaddafi, this is the time. If you remember Saddam Hussein, he killed 50,000 Kurds with chemical bomb. And then US entered Iraq, invaded Iraq, and Saddam Hussein was killed. And this is also after Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in the 90s. I don't know if you remember the 90s. Saddam Hussein was actually, even though he's a Sunni and he banned Shia people from doing their rituals, but Saddam Hussein was not actually religious at all. He's from Ba'ath Party, Socialist Party, just like Bashar al-Assad, also from Ba'ath Party, which is socialist. And as you know, socialism is one step away from communism. They're not the same, but yet similar and very close. And if not careful, socialism will transform into communism. Socialism, like, of course, is also followed by Hitler. And this is what people don't actually realize. In my opinion, the Arab Spring happened because somebody wanted socialism to be wiped out from the land of West Asia or Middle East. Because socialism is too close to communism. Somebody got scared. And they moved the people. And they did it. Socialism out. And if you ever remember Bashar al-Assad from TV, yes, for Sunni, he's a bad guy because he oppressed them. However, he is very relaxed. He's wearing suit. He's not wearing those Arab stuff. I mean, Syrians are not Arab. Just like Egyptians, just like Palestinians, just like the Persian, the Iranians, they're not Arabs. They're not the same like people from Saudi Arabia, Yemen, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. Also, this is actually the war between Sunni and Shia. When I had my old channel, I talk about this. Even when the war in Gaza just started, I asked people, why Turkey, why Egypt, why Saudi Arabia, they don't help the Palestinians with money, weapon, or anything. Not only did they refuse to take them as a refugee in their countries, but they do not help with anything except for food and medicine, maybe. But they don't send them weapons to help to fight against Israel, their mortal enemy. They don't do that. And the president of the Palestinians, Mahmoud Abbas, where was he? He did not talk about anything. He did not say anything until the peace agreement almost done. And then he talked about it. And Mahmoud Abbas is the same like Yasser Arafat. Even though they are Palestinians, they are from different factions. They're not together with Hamas. They're from Al Fatah. Al Fatah, they rule West Bank, and Hamas, they rule Gaza. So this is two different fractions. And I want people to remember this peace deal include Hamas return everyone they kidnapped, 20 people, and Israelis must return some of people they captured, some of the Hamas members they captured. They're prisoners. And that's not the only thing. There are two things. IDF pull out from Gaza. But if you are pro Hamas, don't be happy yet. You know why? Because Israel will control 53% of Gaza. The area of Gaza, 53% will be under Israel. Can you imagine? More than half. Israel will gain more than half of Gaza in exchange. Of course, Israeli agree right away. The Israel agree. And this is what we have to see. The war from Yemen is now carried out, but without involving Sunnis. And Saudi Arabia is smart. Let me ask you one thing. How come Israel fighting 5 fronts, the Palestinians, the Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Iranians, and the Syrians, for 2 years without running out of money? I mean, Israel is rich, don't get me wrong. I agree. But how can they're not running out of weapon? They're not running out of money. Some people, they say, oh, Uncle Sam helping them. Maybe true. But remember, a few days ago, when Donald Trump accepted, when Hamas accepted partly the peace deal from Donald Trump, just partly, Donald Trump said Israel now must stop the bombing. And after Donald Trump saying that, I read it in Al Jazeera, IDF started the bombing again. They didn't listen to Donald Trump even. They listened, but they don't. You know. So this is very weird. A lot of people think, oh, the money comes from USA. USA is bankrupt. They don't even have money. The government is shutting down now. In case if you don't know, USA has the most debt, the biggest debt in the world, and they cannot even pay it. If China asks USA to pay back, USA doesn't have money. They have some money, but not that much. So it cannot be from USA alone if USA helps with weapons. People seem don't like some people, some Muslims especially. It seems like they don't know Israel can make their own weapons. Israel can make their own weapons, can produce their own weapons. Sometimes they bought tanks from USA, the Abrams, but they will modify it to fit with the weather and the condition in Middle East. And when Saudi Arabia, countries like the rich countries like Kuwait, or they can buy any weapon from anyone because they are so rich, but yet they cannot modify it because they don't have the skill, they don't have the technology, and they don't have the know-how. And one more thing I want to share with you. There are 6 countries actually sharing radar with Israel. And those 6 countries are Sunni countries. So even though they on TV, in front of public, they say Israel is wrong, Israel talking bad about Israel, but under all of that, actually they have a very strong relationship right now with Israel. 6 countries in Middle East. Who are they? 1, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, Egypt, and Jordan. They all share radar with Israel. Sharing radar to protect them from who? From the Shia Muslims. And again, this is why no Sunni country attacked Israel during this 2-year war. Forget the Sunni governments. What about the Sunni terrorists? For example, Taliban. Did you hear anything from Taliban during these 2 years? Did Taliban say anything about Israel? Did you hear Al-Qaeda saying anything about Israel? Al-Qaeda is fighting in Mali, in Burkina Faso, right now. But do you ever hear, during this 2-year war, have you heard Al-Qaeda say anything about Israel? Have you ever heard in the news ISIS attacks Israel? Never. If anything, ISIS actually attacked Iran a couple of times. I think it was twice. There was a bombing during funeral. That's what I remember. And the other one, I'm not too sure. I think it's once or twice. But anyway, 2 times. They attacked Iranians in Iran. You don't hear Jemaah Islamiyah, Al-Nusra, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab talking anything about Israel. Why? Because these Sunni fighters and those Sunni governments, they know they need Israel to protect them from the Shia, from Iranian, from the Houthis, from Hezbollah. Right now, they are also, luckily, well, I don't believe in luck, but luckily, Iraq is not involved, even though Iraq is majority Shia. Why? Iraq is still having a lot of problems internally. That's why they don't get involved with this war. This is something to think about. If you understand what's actually going on, and then you will know. If you realize you put together all these small pieces of pictures, and then you will be able to see the bigger picture, and then you will realize what's going on is not what you see. There is a real war underneath. The war in Gaza between the Hamas and the Israelis is not the real war. The real war is between Sunni and Shia. Anyway, whether you're a Sunni or a Shia or a Christian, God bless you all. Have a nice life.